So today we're looking at the HB guitar supports. And the interesting thing about these supports is that they use clamps. So they clamp onto the guitar instead of using suction cups or magnets or anything like that. So there's two models we'll be trying out, the regular HB guitar support and the HB Lite guitar support, which is a little bit smaller. So what I'll do is I'll first do a close-up of those so you can just see what they look like, and then I'll talk about what I like about them and how adjustable they are and things like that. So here's the HB guitar support attached to the guitar. Padding on the bottom. You can adjust the height and the clamping mechanism there. So here's the HB Lite attached to the guitar. Cloth part here. Okay, now that you've seen them, let me just talk about each one a little bit individually. I'm first just going to talk about the things I like about the supports and show you how adjustable they are. And then if I have any concerns, we'll talk about that later. So this support here, the HB guitar support, the regular one, is very similar to like those, a lot of different like guitar supports you might have seen, like the old, the Ergo plays or something like that. But they're a little bit more adjustable, and of course they use the clamps. So first I'll just take it off and then put it back on so you see how easy it is to use. So you just loosen it up here, and then it just comes off. So then you just have it, you pop it onto the guitar, tighten it up. Don't tighten it too much, I'll talk about that later. And there you go. It's on there really well. Definitely won't come off. The disadvantage to suction cups is obvious. Sometimes they come off. I don't mind that in practicing so much, but certainly in performance, that's not something you want. So clamps work a lot better. They just tighten right onto the guitar. On a spot with the guitar, that's pretty strong because, I mean, guitars are built with clamps when they're gluing it, right? So it's a pretty good system. This one's pretty adjustable. You can adjust the height of it from this end, which would make the angle much more like that. I can raise it up like that. I like it raised to the maximum. And you can also adjust the lower end if you want to bring the bottom part of the guitar up a little bit. I like a steep angle, so I bring it all the way in on the bottom and all the way to the max on the top. And then here we go. Lots of clearance. All the advantages to guitar supports are obvious. Your feet can be flat on the ground. You can sit up nice and straight. And of course, I like in guitar supports, it elevates the guitar in a way that I find like it's really easy to reach everything on the neck, especially upper positions, right? So this one's extremely secure feeling. Don't forget too that you can adjust these and then adjust the angle of the guitar. So like you could have the guitar back like this or more like this. So it's quite adjustable in that way. Like I don't think you need any more adjustments than this. Well, I can't think of any other ways to adjust the guitar. So it feels really secure and really support, and it's definitely not going to come off in performance. I don't think it could. You might remember the Murata guitar support. It's been around for decades. And very similar, it does use clamps as well. But one of the problems with this guitar support is that the clamps are so far apart that it doesn't work on my raised fingerboard. If you look at a raised fingerboard, you can see that the top of the guitar slopes down, which is a problem for clamps because on this one, only this set of clamps works on my guitar and then this one doesn't because the guitar gets smaller. These ones are so close together, it doesn't seem to be affecting it. And because there's two sets of clamps, it's very secure. So I've never been able to use this one on my modern guitars. So it's been out. These ones work though, so that's a fantastic thing. So it's not that clamps are brand new, but there's not many companies doing them. I only know of two. So these ones are so close together that they will work, I think, on most raised fingerboard guitars. So I love this one. It feels very secure. I'd perform on it, no problem. If I had any concerns, I wouldn't mind if this raised up a little bit more. At the lowest setting, obviously it's too low. I raise it up to the maximum, and it's actually really good, but some people, I'm pretty short, some people might actually want it to raise a little bit more. I think it's pretty good, but if you're much taller, you might want it raised even more, so that's the only concern. Besides that, it feels great. I'll talk about the clamps in a second. After I look at both of them, I'll talk about like whether some concerns about actual clamps. But for now, I'm going to say like this feels amazingly secure. And they come with some of this like rubber foam stuff that you can keep from slipping the guitar around. That really helps with support too. I think it's fine even without this, but it does help it from sliding around if it were to do that. So out of all the guitar supports I've tried, this one is one of the most secure. It feels great, and there's no suction cups. So let's check out the light version. By the way, it comes with a nifty little bag that you can put it in. It's kind of a nice touch. Looks nicely homemade. It's great. So this is the light version, and I love these little guitar supports. They're so small that they're very compact. You can just throw it in your bag and then you're good to go, right? I have lots of these, you know, like there's the Tenuto supports out of Calgary. They're really good. Maybe my favorite is the Kitano. I use it all the time because it's so small and minimal. Love the Kitano. But it does come off sometimes. Not that often. But I don't trust it in performance. So this one is very similar, except that it clamps on like the other one. So you just pop it on, tighten it up, and you're good to go. So there you go. It's not going to come off. I like this one. It feels pretty good. Again, out of a lot of the guitar supports like this one actually feels a little bit more secure. Maybe one reason for that is sometimes with suction cups, there's like a little bit of give when the suction cup, because the suction cups are made of this like silicone rubber stuff, right? So it's like there's a little bit of flex in the actual suction cups themselves. So you can feel this little bit of flex, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Some people might even like that. But with these ones, like, no way. It's like totally secure. There's no flex at all. It's just like, it's really securely on the guitar. So I really like this one. This is my favorite just because it's so small and easy to use. And one thing I'll say about this one is that this would work so great with kids. If you're teaching kids, I would clamp this onto their guitar and leave it on there. Never take it off. They can put it in their soft shell case and it doesn't have to ever come off the guitar. So this could be a great guitar support, especially for young kids, because you don't want them dealing with the suction cups and it's just too much of a hassle. This is great. Put it on, leave it on, and then that would be it. But of course it's good for professionals too, because it can do the same thing. So those are the two guitar supports. One thing I'll say about the construction of these supports is that they're made of aluminum with like a coating on them, but like it's very light, but also extremely strong. So extremely durable build. Like even the tightening devices, they're like really thick. So like this is not gonna break ever. It's gonna be like really strong. So the construction quality is like just great. Comes with some extra little knobs, silicone stuff here, in case, I guess, if you don't want to use the clear ones, so that's useful. But now let's talk about just clamps themselves. So one concern they're going to have, of course, is, are clamps bad for your guitar? I'm not really qualified to tell you that. I'm not a luthier, so you could ask a luthier, but you know, guitars are built by clamping them together and gluing them, so I think it's pretty safe. Also, I'll say this, is that this silicone tubing that's on the end, this is the same kind of stuff that's on violin chin rests and stuff, and it's quite sticky. So it doesn't slip on the guitar at all, which means that when I tighten this thing, I just tighten it like with 2 fingers, and I would never like really tighten it hard. I just like lightly tighten it until it's kind of like firm, and then I stop. So the amount that I actually tighten it is very, very little. Like barely at all. Let me just get it on here. Like once I attach it, I tighten it so that it's not even like hard to tighten at all, because it doesn't seem to slip at all. So I think it's pretty safe. I have an expensive guitar. I have no problem with it. On factory guitars, you definitely don't have a worry. They're built so strong. On a luthier-made, single luthier-made guitar here at like the, you know, at the $10,000 level or like 8 to 10, you know, there's a little bit of concern because the top is so thin. But because it's near the edge here, I think it's pretty safe. But again, just don't tighten it very much. Do it very lightly, and I think you'll be fine. But consult your luthier. Ask them if you think it's safe or not. I think it is. Now, the other concern would be your finish. Is like, will this damage your guitar? There's padding on all these. So there's like this nice soft leather padding on the bottom and all the way around. So that won't hurt your guitar. And like, but you might be wondering, like, will these, if you use these, if you take this on and off your guitar 1,000 times, will it wear away your French polish or something? Well, I've talked about this stuff before, this vinyl cling wrap stuff. It's a non-adhesive, clear vinyl that you put on your guitar. I have it on the top of my guitar here as like a pick guard or a nail guard. You probably can't even see it because it's clear material. But it's essentially like this. Let me show you up close here. So that's what it looks like with paper behind it. Let me just peel it here. I don't know if you can really see this, but it's like a clear film, and it doesn't use adhesive or anything. So I took that and I cut a little tiny strip and I put it right here. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can. You can see it in the light, I think, right? So I put a little strip here and a little strip here. And then I don't have to worry about it because like that stuff's pretty strong. Like now I just attach this and it's not actually touching the finish of my guitar. The other cool thing about it is that it also marks the exact place where I want to put the guitar support. So not only does it protect my guitar, but it actually like tells me where to put the support. So I don't have to like readjust it every time. I find the perfect spot, put the stuff on, I'm good to go. So, super durable. They work super great. I think the clamps are great. Like I said, other instruments have been using clamps for ages. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So maybe some people don't like the aesthetic of it. But I'll tell you, like, if a suction cup comes off when you're playing, that's not a great aesthetic either. Like seeing a guitar fall away from a performer is not a great thing to see either. Now, some guitar supports have multiple suction cups, so, you know, I guess safety in numbers, right? Also, different types of supports, like the guitar lift that a lot of people are using now, goes on the back of your guitar. Because you're pushing up against it like this, the suction cups never come off. I've never, ever had the guitar lift come off the guitar. I've had the ergo play come off. I've had the Gitano come off. I've had them all kind of come off, but sometimes that's because they're dirty or something like that. One thing I'll say about the Tenuto guitar support, though, is that their strap is adjustable. So the cool thing about an adjustable strap is that if I want the guitar to be at a slightly different angle, I can like tighten it to make this angle steeper. I don't know if you can see that, but you can tighten the strap, which makes it it can change the angle of the guitar. Like if I adjusted this to be downward more, it would make my guitar more upright. You can of course adjust these on the guitar to help with that. But that would be kind of useful because one thing I like, once I found the good position, sometimes I like to have have the guitar actually slightly more over on my leg, which means that the point of this is kind of sticking into the middle of my leg, which isn't a big deal because guitars are so light. But I mean, it'd be kind of nice. Also, the Tenuto adjusts. There's a pivot point here, so you can actually adjust it like that, which allows the guitar to be kind of angled slightly more, and for this to rest on your leg in kind of like the way that you want it to. So the Tenuto is the most adjustable guitar support, I think, in that regard. But nevertheless, the clamp system really sold me on this. So I think these are great, and you can order them. I've got links on the website. So underneath the video, there's links to order these off Etsy or eBay. And like I said, super durable, clamp on. It's a pretty great solution for guitar supports.